My name is Michel Wieviorka. I am a French sociologist. My main interests go from social movements, democracy, cultural differences, to evil, that is to say, racism, anti-Semitism, violence, terrorism, these kind of dirty issues. That's for my interest. My position, I have today two main positions. On the one hand, I am a professor at the École des Hautes Études en Sciences Sociales in Paris, which is maybe the biggest institution in Europe for social science. And on the other hand, I am the president of the Fondation Maison des Sciences de l'Homme, which is a big foundation where you don't have professors or researchers or students as such, but where you organize scientific and intellectual activities in order to promote social science at the best international level. So these are my two main duties, and I am also a member of the European Research Council, which is a very important institution dealing with billions of euros in order to give money to researchers in all disciplines. So that's it. And the Maison des Sciences de l'Homme, where I'm the president, in this place I created, 5 years ago now, I created a new institution within the foundation, which is called Collège d'Études Mondiales, Institute for Global Studies, which is made of 20 chairs. Each chair is given to a very important personality, French or not, it does not matter. And this person must promote activities, research, invitation of postdocs that are coming to France, organizing lectures, conferences, intellectual activities. And within this college, one of the 20 chairs have been given to Marc Fleurbet. And Marc Fleurbet wanted to launch this initiative that we are going to discuss, I suppose, and I, of course, supported him warmly. I have two roles. The main one is that I am an academic like others. I am a researcher. As I told you, I've been working a lot on terrorism, violence. I published books, articles, I made fieldwork, and so on. So I was asked to be in charge of one of the 20, or I don't remember how many chapters. I am in charge as a leading author, there is a word for that. I am with another colleague in charge of this group that is going to prepare a chapter on violence. But I have also other duties because I was asked to be part of the scientific board of the project, and my institution is sponsoring the project. So I am also how can I say that, institutionally guilty or in charge of the project. And, but this means that I support it, that I help it, and that I'm glad that Marc Fleurbet did it so well. It is clear that IPSP is able to have hundreds of wonderful researchers coming from all over the world, from different disciplines, different intellectual interests, all together. So it's a very important and interesting network, and a network where people are able to communicate, to work together. So my first idea is that I hope that in the future, this network still exists after publishing a first report. So my first point is there, having this network still exist. The second point is I hope IPSP will produce interesting knowledge. But IPSP, this project, is not research as such. It's organizing the meeting of researchers. So it will not, I believe, bring a really new ideas, but it will give strength to important ideas. And when we have 200, or I don't know exactly how many people, working together, defending some ideas, social justice, social progress, so this kind of important ideas, refusing inequalities. Then, when you have all this together, you can expect that this group of intellectuals will have a role in their own societies, in their own countries, maybe in other countries. I mean, I hope that this work will bring new dynamics, and this is very important. If I can make a comparison, Marc Fleubet, before having this idea, was part of the climate change project, which is a little bit like that. Today, you don't discuss climate change at an important level without taking into account the recommendations of the so-called, the French call it GIEC, I don't remember in English. I mean, this group that is publishing reports on the climate change. So I consider that promoting a group which is publishing important things on social justice, social progress, will also introduce new debates, new perspectives. Now there is something which is much more French. In my country, social scientists, generally, not all of them, but social scientists are often very parochial, very French. And they don't have a huge interest in the world. And they, for instance, the French social science did not participate really in the global turn. Thinking global is difficult for the French, much more than for other scientists. So I hope also this initiative contributing to have the French social sciences more open to the world. So these are my main ideas. The main problems for me are connected with the fact that the political systems, the political parties, the political leaders, I mean, those people that are involved in politics are not really able to deal with some main social or political or economic issues. Today, and it is not only in Europe, but in many countries all over the world, political systems are weak. And when you have violence, when you have inequalities, when you have a problem here or there, they don't understand so well what is at stake. And when they understand what is at stake, they are not so much able to face these problems. For me, of course, there are many problems. You have poverty, you have inequalities, you have non-recognition of people, you have terrorism, a lot of problems. But for me, the biggest one is the fact that we are not living in a world where political systems can really face these problems. Today we are discussing, in Austria, they discovered in a lorry 50 dead migrants that tried to go in Europe. Every day you have 10, 20, 100 persons, it's terrible, that die in the Mediterranean Sea because they try to go to Europe. So these are huge problems. But what is also, for me, more important is the fact that we are not able to say, no, this is not acceptable. We cannot accept that migrants die in a lorry or die in the sea. And so we must have political solutions. So the gap between the political level and the real problems is a really key issue. I have been working, as I told you, on racism, on anti-Semitism, on terrorism, on nationalism. If I take these 4 issues, I understand that all of them have been changing in a huge way in the mid-80s, more or less. I have no time to be more precise, but terrorism has changed. It was extreme left or extreme right or nationalist or international with the Palestinian violence. Today this is finished. Terrorism is global. Terrorism is anti-Semitic. It has changed a lot. It's religious. So, and these changes occur in the 80s. And I could say the same kind of things for anti-Semitism, for many kinds of violence. So what is for me very important is to understand that we call with the same vocabulary phenomena, processes that have changed a lot, but that have not disappeared. After the Second World War, and after decolonization, many people were thinking, well, we are going to finish with racism, with anti-Semitism, and so on. No, we did not finish, but it is not the same. So my point is that in my research, I have seen how this big phenomenon has been transformed. And I could think that maybe for many other points, huge changes occur. We are living in a world where things are changing a lot and very quickly. You begin to a generation who was born with internet, the social networks. For me, it's totally new. And it's another culture. I have the feeling that I am passing from a culture to another culture. So we have to deal with these issues, and for me, it's very important. I told you that for me, the gap between the political level and realities is huge. So the main change I would like to see would be the reduction, a big reduction of this gap. That is to say, to have new political systems, new ways of making politics, new ways and so on, that could make possible to treat at this political level all these social or cultural or religious problems. This would be, for me, the thing I would like to see. I am afraid I will not see it, but I would like to see it.